Oh my God, this camera is so good that it shows me all my wrinkles. And so today we're going to speak about age and midlife crisis. But about me, my name is Alan. I'm a life coach. You can find me on Fiverr, but you can also find me here for free. I'm going to publish one video every week for an entire year as a challenge. So, age, oftentimes we describe age based on how people describe us. For example, maybe you know someone who is, let's say, 40, 45, and they would say, "Oh my God, I'm old." You always can hear them saying that they are old. And usually, what this happens, or why this happens, is because they describe themselves using the words of other people that they believe. You have noticed that if you have like someone who's like 40, someone who's 18 looking at them, they'll be like, "Oh my God, this person is so old." Someone who is 60 looking at the same person, they'll be like, "Oh, you're so young, you have so much time." So, what's the truth? Well, it depends on who you choose to believe. And you see, the really what really matters is what you choose to believe. If you choose to believe that you're old, you are going to act old, you are going to feel old, and you are going to be old. But if you choose to believe that, no, I'm young and I have plenty of time and I have the spirit of life in me, then you're going to act very different. So it matters a lot on how you see yourself. And let's start from childhood. Childhood, for example, is a magical time. In childhood, everything is magical. You don't have to pay bills, you don't have to procure food, you don't have to really work or to provide value to society in order to get what you are getting for free, because you have parents, you have older brothers and sisters, you have uncles and aunties and other people who can care for you. They protect you, they even show you the ropes, they tell you don't do this, don't do that, and you can just experience life, not experience but more like experiment. You just break things, you knock into things, and you try to realize how life works without really having to pay for the experience. And that's why it's magical, because everything is new, everything is like you are discovering. But of course, later when you go into, for example, in teenage years, and then you go to school, then you start to gradually go towards something that is closer to life, closer to being realistic. Now you have to learn, you have to pass exams, you are graded and you are rated, and like you have to do something. It's no longer just carefree, do whatever you want, all you can eat. Now you also have to provide something. And then later, let's say early 20s. Early 20s is when you kind of like get into, you open the doors of life and you go like, "Oh my God, what am I doing now?" Like, I finished high school, maybe university is done, and now I have to get a job. And that's when you get closer to experiencing life as as an adult, because now you are gradually taking on all the responsibilities. Gradually, your parents might help, but you're gradually taking all the responsibilities, and it starts to feel like, oh shit, kind of, right? And here also, of course, you're full of energy and you're full of ideas, and you try all bunch of things, and you might succeed with some, and you will think that you solved it. Like, early 20s are very an interesting time, because you're not really competent in what you're doing. Like, you really have no idea, you have learned nothing about life, but you are very confident. Like, you think, like, you think you understand, and in the process of that you are going to make very silly mistakes. But as time goes on and you might realize a few things and you head into your 30s, then you mature a little bit and you go like, well, I need to adjust a little bit. I need to change some things. I have learned some things, right? But you're still pretty young. Like when if you're 30, 35, you're super young, no matter what anyone says. But then later, let's say that you are 40, 45, 50. This is a very interesting time because most people, this is where they experience like midlife crisis. And midlife crisis is something that was always baffling to me because I never had it. Like I never felt like I have midlife crisis, and I know a lot of people who go through that, and it's like really tough time. And that this is what I want to discuss about today. This is really the main topic of this video. First of all, midlife crisis depends, or this experience, you experiencing it depends on a few things. It depends on how you see yourself first. If you see yourself as old, well, it's hard to feel good about that. It's just not really something that you can feel good about. So first, how you see yourself and who you choose to believe, who tells you like, oh, you're old, you're young, whatever, that matters. But there is also something else that matters a lot. It's really who are you in the present and where do you think you are going? For example, people who experience midlife crisis are usually people who feel that their life is not going anywhere. And if you feel like your life is not going anywhere, guess what? You are not going to feel enthusiastic about the future and definitely not great about the present either, because, well, you feel like I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve and I'm not going anywhere. So therefore, that is really what contributes to having this midlife crisis, because you are in shock. You are like really, you don't know what's next. But you don't expect something good. You don't expect something positive. You expect the same but kind of worse. And you would be perfectly justified to think so for as long as you don't do anything about it. You see, the solution to midlife crisis is make sure that you are active, make sure that you are building something, make sure that you are developing yourself, make sure that you are building a future. Because if you are not, then the feeling is justified. But you see, midlife crisis is not something that everyone experiences the same, because not everyone is the same. And that is a personal choice. So it's not like midlife crisis is something that just is there. Like once you reach 45, whatever, like, oh my God, you go through midlife crisis, and this is what people think. But that could not be further from the truth. Well, I heard about this. I know people who experienced it. I know how that looks like, but I've never accepted this idea because I'm busy building a future. I'm like, what is this? Like, what just like I'm going to just like sit in a corner and cry myself, like, oh my God, oh God. That's silly. That is absolutely silly at any age. Because for as long as you can move, for as long as you have agency, for as long as you have your mind with you, you can do things, you can build a better future. And no matter your current situation, you can always improve things. This is something that most people actually forget when they take the current reality, even if, let's say, they're not in a good place, they take that as in permanent. Like, okay, this is my life from now on. I'm like, yeah, sure, if you don't do anything about it, absolutely, most probably. But then you have no reason to feel bad about it. You have no reason to complain about it. You have no reason to just, complain, because then you are the one who is complacent about something that otherwise you could change. It doesn't make any sense, right? But you will see people like this all the time. But if you are, maybe before this, maybe you're like in late 30s or whatever, or maybe you're in your 20s and you look like old people stuff, trust me, one day you will be there and this is going to be useful. Or you are in the midst of it, let's say like you are 45. Well, you have a choice. You always have a choice, and it doesn't have to be bad. I will tell you how, when I first heard about this and I was close to my 40s, I was thinking about that. Like, what exactly is it that people feel bad about this? Like, what is it? Like, I don't see it. And of course, I do realize that, okay, so I'm healthy, I'm strong, I take care of myself, and I build myself, and I learn, and I enjoy life, and like I'm building a lot of great things, and then I have no reason to feel bad. In fact, and this was really the first time when I realized that actually it's quite the opposite. Instead of feeling bad for myself, I realized, oh, I have all the reasons in the world to feel great about myself. And I want to share this with you. First, I realized that, oh, first, one thing that I have that I did not have in my 20s, for example, is experience. I have done so many things, some of them the dumbest ever, but because I always reflected and tried to learn from it, I became wiser. I'm literally orders of magnitude wiser and more intelligent than I was when I was 20. No doubts about it. I wouldn't, if right now, I swear, I always say this to my clients, if right now God would come, like would descend upon me and go like, Alan, I have a proposition for you, man. I will give you $1 million, make that a billion, just like to make things more simple. So you don't think it's about numbers. I will give you $1 billion, but I will put you back in your 20s, and I will erase all the experience that you have until now. I will erase all the memory, all the experience, everything that you have learned. So I will put you with $1 billion back in your 20s. Would you take it? I'm like, no. And by the way, well, this is not possible, but if it would be possible, I would definitely be willing to be tested. Like, really, I would turn down, like, for real, I would turn down any amount of money in that situation. Why is that? Because the things that I have figured out, the experiences that I went through, and somehow I'm still here, that is definitely cannot be ever in any shape or form can be quantified in money. If you are in your 40s or later and you are alive, you're well, you are reasonably healthy, and you experience life like in a decent way, like your life is not terrible, you don't have any terminal illness or anything like that, you are golden. Golden and nothing less. Because understand how many things have happened for you to be where you are right now, how many experiences you went through, and how you like things turn out to be the way they are now. But we tend to forget that. We tend to take ourselves for granted. Like, who you are right now, you tend to take yourself for granted, and you shouldn't, because only if for a brief moment of time, if you would try to recollect some of the hardest moments that you went through, the hardship that you experienced, and how that transformed you, you would never want to go back, because you don't know what you will choose. Imagine a point in the past where you were faced with some sort of decision. You don't know which way to go. Should I go left or right? And in that moment, it looks like an impossible choice. You don't have the tools necessary. You don't have the mindset or the maturity to understand, what should I choose? What should I do? Which way should I go? You have no idea. This is unresolved. And you don't see any, like, a path forward. Nothing, no clue, no evidence, no validation. Nobody tells you which way. And even if they do, it doesn't mean that they're telling you the truth. Like most people, they're clueless anyway. So imagine how many of such moments you had in your past, and somehow you made it. Somehow you are here. And even if you think like, yeah, but here is not really good because I lost my money, I lost this and that, you don't know what the other alternatives, if you would have to choose that, not what you chose to be where you are, you have no idea where those would actually lead. Like, you have no clue. So then, in that sense, you don't know that maybe wherever you are right now is really the best place. And that is just only if you take a few minutes to recollect maybe one such instance. But you had multiple in your life, most of which you already have forgotten. If you would really have to go through all of that, you would go insane. You would go crazy because luckily we have, our mind, our brain is wired to clip and cut. We forget, and thank God we forget, because how many experiences you had, if that would be downloaded to you all of a sudden, it would be impossible for you to keep all of that in the mind's eye. Right now, for example, if you're watching this video, like, you are focusing either on me, either you're focusing somewhere in the past on some event, but your focus is very narrow. But you cannot really have all of that. And if you would be overwhelmed, and if you would never want to go back to any point in time, unless there is only one case. And I can almost see that some people would say, like, well, not true, because I made a really bad choice in the past, and my life from there, it was all downwards, and I wish I would go in the past, and I wish I would find myself there to hopefully make a better choice. Well, maybe. Only in that case, maybe. And yeah, granted that this could be the case, and sometimes you could see that how things could be better, but you'd never know for sure. The only thing is that we assume that, oh, if I would go back, if I would have another chance, if I would do things different, that would be better. You have no idea, and you have no proof of what really are the consequences of such change. You have no idea. You just, most of the times, we are going to just build like an idealized version of how that would look like, completely ignoring the ramifications and how those things would cascade down into something that would not necessarily be better. So anyway, where you are right now, most of the times, is the best place to be. Like, really the best. If you think about the passing of time, and no matter what is your age, you might be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, or beyond, wherever you are right now, it's really the best place to be, because it's the only place. You cannot live your life in the past. You cannot live your life in the future, that it's just unrealized potential. You can only live in the present. And when you understand this, something powerful happens. When you understand that I am here, like, just if I could let go of all the expectations and all the projections and my hopes, how life should be and how my life should turn out, and all these projections that we have on reality, if I'm take a time to realize that I'm here, and no matter what is the here, it's the best that it could be. It's almost like you put the heavy weights that you have been carrying for a life, you put them down, and now you are free to experience life, to build a better life moving forward. But for that, you have to take a moment. You have to take a moment to take in this reality, this presence, that I'm here and I have a future that I can build. I have a choice. Maybe I didn't make the best choices in the past. Maybe I made terrible mistakes. We all have done this. But the future is unwritten. And the moment when you realize that, you're not going to feel bad about your age, because you will just realize that, okay, fine, I lost that. I don't know, everything broke. I lost my marriage. I lost my money. I lost my health, whatever. But I'm here. And for as long as I'm here, I still have a chance to improve. Whatever is the situation, every situation can be improved. This is one of the fundamental truths of life. No matter how bad your situation could be, instead of just complaining or sulking or feeling constantly bad about it, you can just reject this victimhood mentality and become the builder, become the ones that says, like, yeah, I accept what happened, I accept where I am, but I don't accept that this is my future. And that is very powerful. So when you do that, your whole experience changes. And even if you're before, let's say, 45, or if you are at around that age, you're not going to experience midlife crisis because there is no midlife crisis. The crisis in the midlife is just a realization. And it's actually a positive thing that could lead you to be better. You see, one of the things that most people don't realize about it is that it's not meant to bring you down. It's not meant to destroy you. It's not meant to make you succumb or descend even further into chaos and depression and anxiety. Midlife crisis is a wake up call. If you experience it, it means that you are realizing reality. You are realizing the present. You understand what is really the current situation, but what you don't understand is that, oh, I have a choice of what happens in the future. I get to play a role into that. I have agency. I can change things. I can redesign anything, man. And for this, I want to introduce to you one of the best mindset that will actually help you to transition this, because just by discussing what is midlife crisis and just telling you like, oh my god, midlife crisis is actually something good and you can change and here is the opportunity, let me actually give you one mindset that will help you to have a very different experience from now on, and potentially this will be the solution. But again, if this doesn't work for you, don't worry. Actually, there are multiple ways that you can transcend and achieve positive transformation if you are experiencing midlife crisis. This is just one of them. What I call this is the mindset of life is a game. And when you adopt the idea or the mindset that life is a game, the next thing that it becomes obvious is, well, since life is a game, let's play. Think about it. We take life too serious. We take age too serious. Oh my god, I'm 35, I'm old. Oh my god, I'm 55, I'm old. Like, what if we would reject this idea that numbers should dictate how we feel? What if you have a chance to design your experience and live a great life? What if that's a possibility? What if the only thing that you have to do is just drop drop all this nonsense that is not even yours? You know, most people who say I'm old in their 40s, they're using words that other people have said to them and they believed them. And that's the problem. Me personally, if someone tells me, "Oh, you're old," I'm like, "You're stupid." Simple, just like that. I'm like, pff, like I would rather be 40 than being stupid like you to call me old, because you're going to be 40 and one day and you're going to realize, oh, but actually I'm not old. I don't feel old. Like, why would I call? Why was I when I was like 18? Let's say, used to call people in their 40s old? Well, because I was dumb. But I'm saying, don't be dumb, because, well, you benefit the most if you adopt a good or an accurate vision of reality. You see, when you are 40 and you think like you're old, that is inaccurate. That is literally inaccurate, because in your 40s, you are fully functional. And not just that, but you're matured. And not matured as in like 30 matured or like 28 matured. No, you are 40 and you are matured, like matured. Again, this is not an absolute. Of course, I can hear some of you say, like, oh, but that's not true because some people are in their 50s and 60s and they're not matured. I know. I agree. But it doesn't, those are exceptions. Most people, if you are in your 40, you have some wisdom with you. You just have to check. Even if you see people, let's say in their 40s, and they're acting immature, it doesn't mean they are immature. That's a difference. If you see someone who is like 50 and does something stupid, it doesn't mean they are stupid. You are just seeing them in a snapshot of their life, currently in a certain place in their life where they're not really doing their best. But again, it doesn't mean they're stupid, and it doesn't mean they're immature. People who are older, even if they're not aware of it or you don't get to see it, they have deep down in there, they have wisdom which is, is hidden, is covered, is buried by other experiences, but they forgot them. If you really dig deep, if you talk to someone who's in their 60s and you really dig for information, things and experiences that they have forgotten themselves, you're going to realize that, oh, they have wisdom. But again, wisdom is not something that we have in our pocket. So we reach our hand in the pocket and it's just there, but like it's easy to retrieve. No, wisdom is something that almost like settles down. It goes down and down. It's kind of like settles somewhere and it's there, but you don't really, it takes time for you to retrieve it. And that's why I always recommend to my clients, I recommend reflection. Reflection, daily reflection is really how you look inside and you realize yourself. You uncover some of that wisdom. Most of my clients, by the way, I don't want to talk about that because the video is specific about this, but since I started, they have the wisdom in themselves, like most people. The wisdom is there. Like they have, like when they come to me, they come with like this sense, this inner sense of like, I need to do something about this. I realize the problem. I know there is a problem, but I don't know exactly what to do, but I will reach for help. But it's that inner wisdom, and this is the point, is that inner wisdom that guides them to take some action, even if they don't know which way to go. So the wisdom is always there. You just have to look inside and not so much mind or care even about what stupid people say. If someone calls you old, as in like bad, like expired, those people are like, whoever calls you old, they're stupid. Like, take it from me. Take it from me. Because old doesn't mean expired. Old also means experienced. And experience makes the whole difference. Have you noticed, for example, that we are yet to see a 21-year-old president? Do you know why that is? Do you know why everyone is like 60 something, 70 something? That's why. So, what are we talking about here? This is one of the things that I realized when I was close to my 40s, and I realized the majority of the billionaires are over 35 and 40s. And it makes total sense because this is when you have enough experience, you have tried, you have failed enough, you have learned and reflected and learned enough to try again and succeed. But you see, here is the problem. Most people quit too early. They think they're in their 40s and 50s and their life is not where they wanted to be or they hope to be, and they think it's over. The game is over. Like, ah, well, I tried. And I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, like, no, life starts at 40. If you are 40, you're just born. You are reborn with a new life. Take it from me that if you are 40, you have gold that is sitting, laying there, waiting for you to dig it up. That is the wisdom, the experience that you qualified as pain and suffering, something to stay away from. I see so many people in their 40s and 50s because they have tried a lot of things and they didn't succeed yet, they they say like, well, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to, I don't know, just like, it's so stupid that all this wisdom, all this experience goes to waste just because you are afraid to try again. And I'm here to tell you that if you are in your 70s, this is what I'm going to do. If I live to be 70, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work, and I'm going to outwork my nephews. That's what I'm going to do. What are we talking about? Life is a game, and it's not over until you believe it's over. But it's not over. And that's exactly what should be on your mind. It should not be the age, the number. It should be, what do I do from here? Not immense, but unlimited possibilities, unlimited potential. Like, life is infinite, and you are sulking about your age. You're sulking about, like, oh my God, life is over because I am too old for this. That's exactly what I mean. Change your focus, and you're going to change how you feel. So, a few conclusions. Please remember that life is a game, and you are here to play. And for as long as you take this mindset, you're going to become a good player. If you're a good player, if someone tells you that you're old, you'll be like, yeah, okay, that's what you think. No problem. I keep playing. I play my game. You can say whatever you want. You try something new, you try a different business and it fails and you lose a bunch of money and you're broke. I'm like, okay, fine, let's try again. Me, myself, I went through this multiple times in my life. And I never considered that I'm going to stop. I'm like, oh my God, I lost so much money. I lost this. I'm like, great, man. Like, it was an experience that I had to have. I learned my lesson and I'm going to do it again. And next time when I do it, I'll do it even better. Here is one thought, one idea that will actually give you something to hope for. This: take an experience in your past where you have failed. Maybe your marriage broken, maybe you lost a bunch of money, something like a big failure in your life. Take the biggest, the one that really even today it affects you. You get it? Okay. Now, here is the idea that will actually help you to move forward and to give you hope again, something to aspire. It's this: that which I already tried and failed miserably is exactly what I'm going to do again, but at this time I'm going to get it better. So when I get it, I'm going to look back and think like, wow, that was like such a beginner. This is even better. I'll give you an example. Let's say that in your past you had a business, and this business was something that was, you, let's say you went to $1 million and you lost all of that, right? And somehow, without realizing, you have set that as to be the absolute maximum, or you decided that's actually like, how to say, the bar, the standard. Well, what is going to give you new hope and really the drive to do it again is this: I'm going to do it again, and I don't want $1 million. I will make it 10 times better. So when I look back and I'm like, good thing I didn't succeed with that, because maybe then I would become complacent and I would stop $1 million. Right now, I'm $10 million and I'm going beyond. Whatever is the situation, whatever you have lost, whatever is the trauma that you have in your past, remember, you can not just try again and make things better, but you can achieve your wildest dreams, but only if you decide that you start now.